Did you ever feel like the universe was trying to send you a message? Stop what you're doing, look around. Because the profound truth is, it probably is. Every day, while we rush to fulfill our myriad responsibilities, our heads down and our minds preoccupied, small, incredibly meaningful things are happening around us, subtle, almost silent signs that punctuate the noise. They are occurring in the coffee line, amidst the chaos of the morning commute, and in the quiet moment just before you fall asleep. Some people, grounded in skepticism, call them coincidences. Others, with a more optimistic view, chalk it up to simple luck. But there are those, a growing number of deeply perceptive individuals, who see something far greater in them. Small, everyday miracles. We're not talking about Moses and the parting of the sea, nor the grand spectacle of walking on water. We're talking about something far more personal, far more intimate and continuous. Today, we will dive deep into these powerful stories and reflections, meticulously exploring how faith, the simple radical act of trusting an unseen benevolent reality, touches the absolute minute details of life, often revealing itself precisely when we least expect it. Now let's confront our deep-seated expectations. When we hear the word miracle, we are culturally conditioned to think of something grand, something incredibly rare, something undeniably extraordinary. We automatically conjure images of flashing lights, booming voices, and events that seem to intentionally defy every single established law of physics. This very expectation, however, becomes the primary obstacle that blinds us to the continuous stream of divine care and orchestration present in our lives. The true, life-altering revelation is this. What if miracles happen exponentially more often than we imagine? What if they are intricately woven into the very ordinary fabric of our Tuesday afternoon? What if they appear not in the overwhelming spectacular, but in the manageable, profound, subtle? They might be found in a small, split-second decision we make, an unexpected 5-minute traffic delay, a perfectly timed encounter with a stranger, or even in profound setbacks that initially seem frustrating, but ultimately end up protecting or profoundly teaching us a vital lesson we desperately needed to learn. Faith, therefore, is not merely believing in what we cannot see. That is a necessary, foundational step. But the crucial, life-changing daily work of the spiritual life is learning to notice what usually goes completely unnoticed. It is learning to see the undeniable divine signature embossed on the pages of the mundane. Take the profound, yet simple story of Clara. Clara was known for being intensely, almost obsessively, punctual. She lived and died by the clock, where 5 minutes early was the standard, and on time was already considered a personal failing. But that particular morning, the forces of nature seemed to conspire against her. Absolutely everything went catastrophically wrong. The alarm didn't ring, not a single peep, resulting in a late start. She misplaced her essential keys, the ones she always leaves on the exact same hook. And then, insult added to injury, the bus was frustratingly, agonizingly late. Annoyed, her anxiety spiking, she felt deeply, personally wronged. The emotion was a sharp, bitter wave of self-pity, her inner voice shouting, "Why today of all days? Why is the entire universe seemingly conspiring against my schedule?" She felt like the utterly miserable victim of a chaotic, pointless cosmos. When she finally arrived at work, half an hour late and ready to profusely apologize to her manager, she learned something that instantly evaporated all her anger and replaced it with a deep, chilling sense of awe, a profound realization. A serious, multi-car accident, a catastrophic event, had happened on the exact highway route she would have taken at that precise moment in time. Had her morning run smoothly? Had her bus been on time? Had her keys been where they belonged? Clara would have been right in the middle of a catastrophic pileup. Clara felt a profound, spine-tingling chill, a visceral understanding of grace. What had seemed like pure, irritating chaos, a random series of vexing delays, had in reality become absolute, undeniable protection. This wasn't mere luck. It was a delicate, precise orchestration. This is the truth of the subtle miracle. Small miracles don't always shine with a brilliant, heavenly glow. Sometimes they appear as delays. Sometimes they wear the irritating disguise of an inconvenience, shielding us from harm we couldn't even perceive on the horizon. Reflecting upon this, we realize how often we waste energy complaining about the very things that are, in fact, holding us safely in place. It's a profound thought to dwell on. What we hastily label as setbacks can actually be invisible, loving care. It is the universe, or God, gently putting a loving, strong hand out to shield you, even if that protective hand feels, in the moment, like a frustrating speed bump that makes you miss your appointment or arrive late. Let's look at another history that speaks not to protection, but to the deeper, more spiritual intervention of perfectly timed communication. João was navigating a truly dark and difficult period in his life. He was drowning in persistent financial struggles, perpetually weighed down by discouragement, and suffering from a deep, debilitating sense of being utterly lost and without direction. His path forward was dark and entirely invisible. One day, overwhelmed and unable to cope, he sat down on a quiet, unremarkable park bench, unable to motivate himself to move. The sun was warm, but his heart was freezing cold. He closed his eyes and whispered a silent, desperate prayer. It wasn't a laundry list of demands. It was a humble, raw, and essential plea. Lord, just show me I'm on the right path. Just one sign. I need to know I'm not forgotten, not going crazy. Minutes later, an elderly man, clearly a park regular, sat down beside him, completely unnoticed at first. The old man started a gentle, seemingly aimless, rambling conversation. He spoke about nothing and everything, the weather, the flowers, the price of tea. And yet, almost magically as he spoke, he transitioned to talking about his own past experiences, about falling hard and painfully, losing everything, and then finding the quiet, stubborn, necessary courage to pick himself up and start over again. Without knowing João's prayer, without ever having met him before, he answered exactly the deepest, most critical concerns João had been hiding deep in his heart, the ones he couldn't even voice. Every single word was a perfect, tailored balm to João's spiritual injury. Before leaving, the old man stood, patted João's shoulder with a warmth that felt electric, and said simply, with a kind, firm, knowing look in his eye, "You are stronger than you think. Keep walking, you're almost there." And he walked away, disappearing around a bend. João wept openly right there on the park bench, tears of release and gratitude. To him, that wasn't a happy coincidence. That wasn't a random chat with a lonely old man. It was an answer. It was the sign he had prayed for, delivered in an ordinary voice, in a sunny, ordinary park. This reflection brings us to a powerful, recurring theme. The divine uses ordinary people to touch hearts and deliver essential messages. Sometimes he places someone, a complete stranger, a neighbor, or an old acquaintance, right beside us, precisely at the exact, crucial moment we need it. He doesn't need a massive, flashing billboard. He uses the subtle, gentle presence of human connection to convey his guidance. Now think about Marina and the incredible concept of precise provision. Marina was consumed with worry about a significant overdue bill. It was a substantial amount, and she simply didn't have enough money to cover it, not by a long shot, and payday was weeks away. The worry was starting to turn into a full-blown panic attack, causing sleepless nights. She made a simple, almost timid prayer, a whisper in her kitchen, while staring helplessly at the envelope. "Lord, help me not to panic. Help me trust that you've got this. I know it will somehow work out." That very afternoon, she decided to organize an old, dusty file folder, a task she had been putting off out of sheer boredom for weeks. Inside, she found a forgotten notification, a relic from a job she had held years ago, which stated a final outstanding payment had just been processed and sent out. Curious, she immediately checked her bank account, and there it was. A surprise, forgotten payment had been deposited into her account. The exact amount? Just enough. Not a single dollar over, which would have felt like a lottery win, but precisely enough to cover the overdue bill entirely. The panic vanished instantly, replaced by a profound, humbling peace. It wasn't a fortune. It wasn't an extraordinary wealth-generating event, but it was exactly what she needed, down to the last penny, at that exact, critical moment. The reflection here is simple, yet revolutionary. Sometimes the miracle isn't big. It's precise. It's exact. It's perfectly sized. It is a custom-made blessing, perfectly engineered to calm the heart and silence the worry, proving beyond a doubt that the divine is intimately concerned with even the smallest, most immediate of our financial and emotional needs. Many people, maybe even you, spend their lives looking for God to speak with a booming voice and earth-shattering thunder. They look only for the spectacular show, the undeniable display. But the enduring truth is that he often speaks in whispers, through subtle promptings and soft assurances. And our job, the essential work of faith, is to learn how to lower the volume of the world so we can listen to the whisper. Small miracles may be found in the sudden irrational peace we feel when everything around us is collapsing and logic dictates fear. They may be found in the unexpected phone call from someone you haven't heard from in years, arriving just when you felt utterly alone. They are in the crucial protection we never noticed until we hear a story like Clara's. They are in the brilliant novel idea that appears out of nowhere and changes the entire trajectory of your project or your life path. Or they are found in the heart that finds calm even when the physical, rational answer hasn't arrived yet. Faith doesn't just give us hope for a distant, theoretical future. Faith gives us different eyes for the present moment. It radically changes the way we perceive the fundamental reality of daily life. It turns a boring, predictable day into a continuous series of potential divine answers. Consider the recent story of Lucas and the deep power of spiritual intervention across distance. Lucas was consumed with anxiety, worried sick about a difficult personal problem he felt utterly powerless to solve or even influence. He was sitting at his desk trying to work, but his mind was racing, stuck in a relentless loop of fear and uncertainty. He paused, closed his eyes, and prayed silently, simply asking for strength to endure, for a flicker of peace in the storm. Minutes later, his phone buzzed with an incoming text. It was from a friend he rarely spoke to anymore, someone they had simply, naturally drifted from over time. The message was strange, almost jarringly out of context with their relationship. "Hey, Lucas, I just felt like sending you this today. You are stronger than this difficult moment. God is with you. You got this." Lucas became instantly profoundly emotional, tears welling up. The timing was too perfect, too specific. The friend, when asked later, confirmed that they had simply felt a sudden, powerful, undeniable urge, a spiritual prompting, to send that exact encouraging message to Lucas at that exact pivotal moment. For Lucas, that text wasn't just a random message from an old friend. It was a digital, tangible hug from God. It was the immediate, perfect answer to his silent prayer for strength. The deep reflection that follows is this. The Spirit touches where logic and time cannot explain. It bypasses phones, it ignores schedules. It cuts through the noise of the world and drops a thought right into the consciousness of the person next to you or miles away. It is a quiet, beautiful, and profoundly personal connection that transcends the rational world. So, perhaps you are realizing now that you've already experienced several small, precise miracles, but didn't notice them, because your focus was exclusively on the big, spectacular, impossible signs you were expecting. The key to unlocking a life of continuous gratitude and deep-seated peace is simple, though not easy. It is training yourself to look for the whisper. To recognize them, you must commit to a new, intentional kind of living. First, observe more. Instead of rushing past the details of your day, pause and scrutinize the coincidences. Second, be still more. Create quiet, intentional space for the subtle feelings and promptings to be heard and felt. Third, give thanks more. Acknowledge the small good things immediately, making spiritual room for more grace to flow. Fourth, trust more. Let go of the anxious need for a complete rational explanation or a grand display. And most importantly, pray not only asking for things, but acknowledging what is already happening around you. Shift your focus from a posture of petition to a posture of perception. Miracles, in this small, precise sense, are not rare. They are happening constantly, right now, as you listen to this, in the background of your life. Rare are the eyes that know how to see them. Rare is the heart that is quiet enough to feel the perfect, delicate timing. If this video has touched your heart, if these stories resonated with that deep, knowing feeling inside you, please make this part of your small miracle today. Share it with someone who desperately needs hope. Your simple act of sharing might be the very small, precise miracle they need to experience today. And in the comments below, tell us, what small, precise miracle have you lived? Was it an unexpected check? Was it a delay that saved you? Was it a perfectly timed word from a stranger? Your story might inspire someone else too. May God bless your day, and may you not just rush blindly through it, but truly notice the beautiful, silent details He places along your path. If you love this story and want to hear more like it, please hit that subscribe button. It truly means the world to us and helps us grow this community of intentional notice. And hey, while you're at it, let's aim for 50 likes on this video. Help us smash that goal.